Before understanding cloud computing, let's understand the option for a company for its infrastructure platform by a short story. Assume there is an owner of a small IT company who wants to expand his infrastructure in order to increase more services. And in order to do that, he need to add more servers and will require technical experts to monitor and manage those servers, which will ultimately increase their expense. And this was not favorable for the owner at this moment. Finally, due to the financial limitation, he was about to drop his plan. Fortunately, he met his friend who was a technical guy working on clouds. Owner of the company discussed his problem with this friend, and his friend suggested him to move infrastructure of his company to cloud, where he will not need to buy physical servers. Finally, cloud migration turned out to be lifesaver move for his business, especially at the stage of startup. Cloud computing is the use of network of remote servers hosted on internet to store, manage and process data rather than a local server. With the help of cloud computing, you can store or access your data from anywhere on the internet. For more clarity, let's compare local server infrastructure and cloud computing in all aspects. In case of scalability, local infrastructure pays more for setup and get lesser options. Once you set up the infrastructure, it is difficult to set down due to which heavy losses occur. Whereas in cloud computing, it allows you to pay only for how much you use with much easier distribution for scaling up or down. If we talk about server storage, local server infrastructure needs a lot of space for its servers. On the other hand, cloud computing solutions are provided by local service providers who manage and maintain the servers, saving a lot of money and space. If it is a concern regarding data security, the local servers offers less data security due to a complicated combination of physical and traditional security measures. Whereas cloud computing systems offer much better security and you don't have to constantly monitor and manage security protocols. If there is a data loss, the chance of data recovery with local servers is very small. But in the case of cloud computing, systems have robust disaster recovery measures in place to ensure faster and easier data recovery. So if you are planning for local infrastructure servers, we need an additional team for hardware and software maintenance, which will ultimately increase the cost. Whereas in cloud computing, servers are maintained by cloud service providers in all terms, which will reduce cost and resource allocation. Cloud computing may vary either based on deployment or service used. There are three types of deployment models: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Assume you want to travel from home to the office. There are three ways to do that. First, you can take a bus. A bus is a public resource, same as public clouds, which are available to the public over the internet. These are owned by cloud service providers. Then you have the option that you can use your vehicle, which is a private resource same as private clouds, which are exclusively operated by a single organization. And finally, you have the option to hire a cab, which represents the hybrid cloud, which is a combination of functionalities of both public and private clouds. Now let's have a look at service models. Three major service models which are currently available is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Cloud computing service models are hassle-free compared to local server infrastructures. IaaS refers to infrastructure as a service, where users get access to basic computing infrastructure. They are commonly organized by IT administrators. If your organization needs resources like storage or virtual machines, then IaaS is the best choice for you. You need to manage applications, data, runtime, middleware, and OS, else will be managed by cloud service providers. Next, we have PaaS, which refers to Platform as a Service and provides cloud platforms and runtime environments for deploying, testing, and managing the applications. This model enables users to deploy applications without the need to acquire, manage, and maintain the related architecture. If your organization needs a platform for creating software applications, then PaaS is the best choice for you. You need to manage applications and data only, else will be managed by cloud service providers. Finally, we have SaaS or Software as a Service, which provides services for hosting and managing your software applications. All software and hardware requirements are satisfied by vendors, so users don't have to manage any aspects of the solution. If you don't want to have any IT equipment, SaaS is best for you. All components will be managed by cloud service providers. So now let's discuss Amazon Web Services, one of the best cloud computing service providers that allows you to host and manage cloud services on the internet. AWS is used by around 80% of Fortune 500 companies to host their infrastructure, and a lot of services have been provided to the customers. AWS provides infrastructure as a service, which deduces that they provide servers as a service. So you don't have to manage the backup and power supply of service. It also provides PaaS or Platform as a Service, which means you get different programming languages such as Java, Ruby, and PHP as a service. So you don't have to maintain the binaries of these applications. You also get SaaS, that is Software as a Service, where you can have email service like SES that enables developers to send mail within any application. You also get queuing service like SQS that enables you to decouple and scale microservices, distributed systems, and serverless applications. It's a cloud storage platform where you have a lot of storage options, including EBS, Elastic Block Store, which is an easy-to-use, scalable, high-performance block storage service, and Simple Storage Service, which is an object storage service offering industry-leading scalability, data availability, security, and performance. So combining all, AWS is a hosting provider which provides you a lot of services where you can run your applications on the cloud. Now let's understand why AWS is such a big hit that everyone is trying to use it. Everyone is trying to put their applications on AWS cloud. So what is the reason that AWS is the top provider and the top choice of doing anything on cloud? So the very first reason that makes AWS a top choice is its cost. AWS charges for every instance or every service on an hourly basis, and AWS has a very low cost for its instances. Whether it's on EC2 or S3, you will get per hour billing rate, which is very transparent. Sign up process on AWS is very easy. You don't need to sign any agreement, just use your email ID for registration and add a credit card for billing, and you are good to go. You can launch your big machines without buying any hardware. You can just be up and running in a minute. AWS provides a billing dashboard which allows you to easily understand your AWS spending, view and pay invoices, manage billing preferences, tax settings, and assess additional cloud financial management services such as reports of your monthly spending. For a good cloud provider, important challenge is to provide a stable and trustworthy service. So if we analyze last 11 or 12 years, we can say that AWS services are quite stable. If there are any outages, AWS have very short resolution time. It's a trusted vendor. So when we talk about AWS, It comes with something which is used by everyone in the industry. From small startup to big companies, everyone sees Amazon as a trusted advisor. If we look for best available option, we can say that AWS has significantly more services and more features within those services than any other cloud provider. As we covered significant reasons to use AWS, let's have a look at a roadmap that will explain how AWS has reached this position. 2003. In 2003, Chris Pinkham and Benjamin Black presented a paper on what Amazon's own internal infrastructure should look like. They suggested selling it as a service and prepared a business case for it. They prepared a 6-page document and had a look over it to proceed with it or not. After a small discussion, they decided to proceed with the documentation. 2004. Simple Queue service was officially launched in 2004. A team launched this service in Cape Town, South Africa. 2006. In 2006, Amazon Web Services was officially launched. Amazon Web Services (AWS) began offering IT infrastructure services to business in the form of web services. 2007. In 2007, over 180,000 developers signed up for AWS. 2010. In 2010, Amazon.com retail web services were moved to AWS. That is, Amazon.com is now running on AWS. 2011. In 2011, AWS suffered from some major problems. Some parts of the volume of Elastic Block Store were stuck and were unable to read and write requests. It took 2 days for problem to get resolved. 2012. In 2012, AWS hosted a first customer event known as the Re-Event Conference. First Re-Event Conference occurred in which new products were launched. In AWS, another major problem occurred that affects many popular websites such as Pinterest, Reddit, and Foursquare. 2013. Certifications were launched in 2013. AWS started a certifications program for software engineers who had expertise in cloud computing. AWS certifications help to recognize the skills, knowledge, and expertise of IT professionals in designing, deploying, and managing applications on the AWS platform. 2015. In 2015, AWS breaks its revenue and reaches $6 billion per annum. The revenue was growing by 90% every year. 2016. By 2016, revenue doubled and reached $13 billion per annum. 2017. In 2017, AWS Re-Event released a host of artificial intelligence services due to which revenue of AWS doubled and reached $27 billion per annum. 2018. In 2018, AWS launched machine learning specialty certs. It heavily focused on automating artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now AWS provides more than 100 cloud services to more than 1 million developers all over the globe. The AWS Cloud Service platform is used by more than 45% of the global market. In this learning course, we will plan to be certified in Architect of AWS as an associate, which validates the ability to design and implement distributed systems on AWS. To earn this certification, you will need to take and pass the AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate exam SAA-C02. AWS